Good morning, not Vietnam. Good morning, fucking wherever you are. You gotta love the interweb. And Robin Williams, rest in peace. Um, so, Equanimity Studios, I'm here. I, I know why. I thought teachers were controlling when they told us that they just didn't want our heads on the desk. And if you sleep on wood and it's deep, this is the possibility. I've been getting it in. Today's document day for the shitbags. I'm going to stick to the script. You know what I mean? They're people. They're flawed people. I'm flawed. We all make mistakes. They've asked me to hold them accountable at the deepest level of accountability. They haven't. Their souls have. Their souls have asked me to. There's parts of them that they need to fix that they can't get to on their own. So what happens? This is a radical forgiveness thing where the souls are. We all come into contact with each other for some reason. If you can opt to not play victim in any circumstance, even if you are victimized. But once the victimization's over, in the immediate circumstances, you no longer have to be a victim. You have to make a choice at that point to not be victimized by, like for me, I carried this shit with my dad my whole life, and well, that stopped. He was gone, and he wasn't the monster that I had created in my head. He was just a flawed man doing the best he could with what he had. And when I started digging into myself and stopped blaming anybody for my fucking life that I had full dominion over, then I was able to move on, you know? And I still have remnants of that shit in my head. It's that PTSD shit. That's a hard motherfucker to break. So is any mental illness, compulsion, because the shit that causes it happens before we have the ability to discern what's good, right, wrong, good, evil. Like from the third trimester till you're about 3 years old, you're being programmed with information. That's your truth. That's your truth. You don't know it. Now you might deny everything your parents do. You might, for me, I would look at my dad, and that would be the model not to do if I was going to be a father. But I'm still part of them. So until I admitted that, I love what Loyal Connor says in one of his tracks. He says, "So how can I hate the roots of the tree without hating me?" So you know what I mean? Like, you're the ones who come before you. They're the roots. And if you hate them, whether you want to admit it or not, you're inadvertently hating yourself, because if they were doing the best they could with what they had, those pieces of them are in you. They didn't intentionally program you with that. That's just that was their truth. That truth fell onto you. Now you get to a point now where that truth doesn't serve you in the world. It becomes your compass, your go-to mechanisms, especially when you're in fight or flight. And it makes us all flawed, which is it's a beautiful thing, because we all get to work on these flaws together, right? We could, if we weren't so busy blaming each other for shit. I don't blame these shitbags for anything. They're shitbags to me. They're always probably going to be shitbags to me. I don't see a point where I've tried to allow for integrity this entire time. And I think this is probably my codependence too, because they told me a long time ago through their actions, they don't have it. It's not in their DNA. They delusionally believe they have it. And where I am, I'm sitting here in this other space that doesn't even exist to them. Like, I would hear comments from the CPA about, 2% of the population does this. I'm like, no, well, then I'm the 2%, because no, I would definitely get that money back. No, you wouldn't. Yeah, I would. Why would I wouldn't take somebody's money. What the fuck? The money's not important to me. Oh, come on. And I'm blown. I'm like, how is that so unbelievable? This is how people are, right? This is how we interact with each other. I love in the 4 agreements, don't take anything personal. Why? People can't see beyond the scope of themselves, for the most part, unless you've practiced mindfulness and you've gone through things and you're on the other side of the first, so the second level of consciousness, which is basically the victimizer cycle, right? That's oppressor oppressed. That's there's one side or the other, two-party system. Unless you're beyond that, you only see within the scope of yourself. You can't fault a person for that. You cannot like what they do. Like me, hey, forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. I'm gonna fuck them up. I don't feel good about what they force my hand at. I don't, but I have to trust in the universe that it's for a reason, right? And I know for me, when I was at my worst, I needed the worst to happen so that I could come to grips with who I was. I needed my ego to be dismantled to where when I was at my smallest parts, I could grasp at the soul that was crying out, like, fucking, do something, man. There's something better out here for us, but we can't get to it unless you break this fucking facade down. So anyway, I'm a unicorn to them. I'm a unicorn to a lot of people because when I speak of integrity in relationships too, like when I say truth is the only thing that matters at the end of the day, it's the truth. When I say growth is the only thing that matters, it's the truth. And when you come into a relationship with me and, white lies are a thing, which they are for most people and acceptable, and then you realize, oh shit, you were serious about it. You meant that literally. You really mean that shit. That's how my life is, right? Like my entire life has been that. Even, as a international drug trafficker, right? I'm just telling it like it is. There's a level of integrity that I carried that made me different. And I would always get this comment from people. What are you, Jesus? No, I don't think you should fuck people. Like, I don't believe in that. Not maliciously, right? What I'm going to do today is going to fuck them. Where I send these documents is going to fuck them for the rest of their lives. They're going to deal with things they don't want to deal with because they couldn't get out of their own way and say, well, number one, they don't have anything on me. So I don't know what kind of deluded fantasy they're living in to where they think that even if they did have something, it would absolve them of crimes they've committed, right? Like, once the IRS gets a hold of you, you're fucked. You know what I mean? They're going to do what they do, and they're going to find what they want to find eventually if you've done things, and they have. So I don't know what they think they have that would prevent that from happening, because that's where I'm going now with it. It's like, all right, I don't have time to wait for the courts, the traditional bullshit. I got to get to getting on. Like, I got shit to do, and I'm not going to sit there and play. I am going to sue them, you know what I mean? And I'm going to win. That's just how it's going to be. But I need to do that at my leisure, right? Like, I'm going to take care of them now, and they can deal with that shit. And then I can feel good about not applying so much pressure once the powers that be get a hold of it. So they forced me into this place where this is every fight that I've ever been in my life, where I knew it was coming. I'm not an intimidating guy, right? When I was in school, I was a $160. I looked pretty much the same. Pretty boy. And I believe in, I never tried to intimidate people because I couldn't. And I didn't believe in it. I just, where I came from, if you get within X amount of feet of my space and we're arguing, I'm gonna knock your fucking teeth out. You know what I mean? It's just gonna happen like that. I'm not, there's no pushing. We don't push where I come from. That doesn't happen. I don't threaten with guns. If a gun gets pulled, it's being shot. You know what I mean? And if you pull one on me, you better fucking shoot me, or I'm coming at you. Real talk. Like I've done that before. Like I was talking to, what was I talking to? I was talking to somebody about this one guy pulled a gun on. It was me and a few of them. This is how off we were in my neighborhood. It was him and I don't know how many of his friends, and this one guy wants to pull a gun. We're like, shoot us. He's like, I'm doing it. So we started running at him. Motherfucker started shooting at us. And I remember one of the bullets just went by my ear. I remember the heat from the fucking bullet. And that might make a person stop, right? Like, ooh, that was close. Like, that's a healthy ego at that point would say, ooh, shit, this is what my, this was PTSD too. What mine did was say, well, it didn't kill me, so keep going. You know what I mean? That was the flaw but also it's what made me accomplish things that other people said were impossible. So my whole life I've been told not what I can't do. People tell me what they can't do, right? And this entire company was built on the premise that I can't do what I did. And when I did what I did, they wanted to steal it. And so they're telling me now that I don't exist, right? And they're begging me to show them that I do. And now I have to. So now I have to show them I exist in a way that I don't want to show anybody I exist. Why can't we all just get along? You know what I mean? Like, I was going to give the company to them this year. Like, they don't know that. They don't know anything. So I noticed something happening, right? I noticed I knew Patrick was jealous and disgruntled. And the reason I didn't leave the company is because that guy couldn't be CEO. I couldn't leave in good conscience and have that guy be CEO, not because I didn't like him. None of that happened yet, but he's not capable. He's not competent. You can't be the CEO of a company and think that you're deserving of 100% disability from the VA for TBI and PTSD at the same time. What the fuck, dude? You know what I mean? Like, so this is the guy that they opted to get behind, that type of delusion where somebody thinks that, yeah, I should be 100% disabled from the VA and CEO of a company. What the fuck? You know, but on his email it says CEO now. I'm like, oh my God, they're fucking calling this guy CEO. They're so deluded that, so if he is CEO and he's really taking on those responsibilities, you know the percentage of veterans that, I mean, I think it's like 2 veterans a day kill themselves with PTSD. But if they're really putting those responsibilities on him, where do you think he ends up? Because he can't do it. There's nothing on God's green earth that's going to give him the cognitive ability to handle what a CEO has to handle. He's proven it. Like every meeting we had at that company was workarounds and I wouldn't name him, but I said, the company is operating, had a 25% efficiency deficit. It was him. He was always, I just didn't want to say it because he would crumble. You know what I mean? And I respected, anyway. So they invited me out to play. I said, all right, so what's the best information you can get on people that are now your opposition? How do you get that information? Is it hearsay? Do you go digging into their shit, doing illegal shit? What's the best way? Well, the best way is to get it from them. So, I wrote that line in cut print. What is power? True power is giving the other person the illusion that they have it, right? So you do that first. You take a submissive position and you allow for a little bit of knocking around, right? I can take lumps, and you listen. So that's what I did. I listened, and okay. No, I see that. More information would come. When the information would dry up, I'd start acting erratic, emotional. I'd start throwing shit out there that says, this guy's losing his shit. What happens when people think somebody's losing their shit? They don't respect them. Then the information starts to come out because now they're getting cocky, right? Now they're getting cocky and the fucking, and I didn't even know about the Canada thing when they infringed on it, when they breached my contract. I didn't know about it. I called with some craziness because I had a suspicion something was going on, but I didn't know what. So I said, I knew they had stolen my system, right? Everything they do there is my system. So I was calling Kurt about I'm like, this dumb fuck Patrick, within 2 days, he's created another case for himself. Guilty conscience Kurt says, why? Because he called Canada? So I just played along with it. Motherfucker, most of the information I got from these guys, I got from them. I got from them by I've made 150 runs probably across this country. When I was young, I said, you know what? I want to be an actor, but I'm not going to be a starving artist. I'm not doing that poverty thing again. So how do weed, big business. So I cut out everybody. The in-betweens. I went straight to the source, drove it back myself when I started, and I deliver it straight to my buddy. I go back out there with the cash. You know what I mean? And just kept turning it out. Pulled over 6 times. This is white privilege, right? This is a cop treats you differently when you look like them. Even black cops, you know what I mean? Like, because we all have this shit ingrained in us. But 6 times, walked away. Had dogs on me in Texas. 300 pounds in the back in plain view of this SUV. Walked away. So what I learned at a very young age is why I never got tatted up. Why I learned I came from Detroit and I had to learn how to speak white. You know what I mean? Like proper. Well, I didn't want to be poor. So I had a political stance on weed. How is alcohol legal and this not? So I could justify. And then it turns out it's a big moneymaker when you cut out everybody in between and you go get it yourself. So I did that. And how I was successful. I mean, the DEA took my money. I got it back. You know what I mean? Like, the shit like that happened. This is what's funny is any people who know me know that the feds, all the alphabets, they've been following me since I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like, in school, they were doing news stories on fucking my dog Bingo when I get out of boot camp and you know what I mean? My whole senior year was a big fucking news story. And then after that, I can't come home from college without fucking the FBI pulling up in trench coats and fucking offering me cash for information. You know what I mean? That was my fucking life. My first trip back to Michigan was paid for by the ATF. I pull up on my motorcycle in fucking Cali one night and see this big burly motherfucker. So I grip my helmet tight. I'm like, all right, what the fuck's going on? I'm thinking, I got to scrap this motherfucker. You know, I don't know what's going on. Pulls out his badge, ATF. My first trip back to Michigan, my first plane ride ever, actually, was paid for by the ATF. So the alphabets following me since I was a kid. It's been perpetual. You know what I mean? Like, once you're in their book, you're in their book. I don't know what these delusional fuckers think they have that they couldn't get. That's what's funny in this. Like, I don't know what fucking delusions you fed yourself to make you think that either you think I'm you and I'm so full of shit that somebody would just talk all this shit and not follow through. I can't. In my neighborhood, I can't fathom a shit talker of that magnitude. They don't last. You know what I mean? So everything I've said I'm going to do. And today's the day. So, but I feel bad. You know, I have opted for a spiritual path in my life, and it's gonna fucking, I don't know if they make it. You know, there's one guy in particular I'm worried about. I can't worry about it. He's asked for it. They all asked to be held accountable in a way they've never been held accountable. Why? This is their souls. This is radical forgiveness. Their souls are asking so that they can grow, because to live lives as them for the rest of their existence here is not going to lead them to a good place in the afterlife, whatever that is. So they have to do some fucking evolving, and I've been called to task. And this is how the fights have gone in my life. Like anybody in high school, I got in fights all the time because I couldn't intimidate. So I had to fucking actually hit the motherfucker. Everybody would, not everybody, but there were people. I wasn't a scary guy to test, because I would, at the beginning of the fight, I'd be like, dude, I really don't want to do it. Are you sure? Are you sure? And I'm trying to talk them out of the fight, because we're going to fuck you up. And I would tell them that it's not a threat. That's full disclosure. Like, I already know what I'm going to do to you, because I've done it in every other fight. And if you haven't watched, I'm going to do the same shit to you. I'm going to turn away, and I'm going to look out of the side of my face to see if you're fucking cocking back, or if you're, you know, whatever the fuck it is. And if I get the signal to knock your fucking ass out, I know exactly where to hit you, and you're going to fall. And that's what's going to happen. Then I'm going to talk shit to you while you're down. You know what I mean? Like, they happen like that. Like, it's funny. I think it was Babbitt. He's like, one-hitter quitter. It was Drew. So one of you guys fucking... Because that's how it was. I would be like, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you. Please don't make me fuck you up. All right, you just push me? Bam, dump. These motherfuckers, I know I'm about to upend their lives. Do they deserve it? Yeah, they do. They do. And I have to move forward with that in mind, that they did some foul shit. I built I stayed at this company 2.5 years beyond what I wanted to, because I knew if I handed it over to him, the investors would never get their money back. So I stayed. It's the investors who formed this coup with him because they didn't like how I wouldn't gouge employees for our overhead. I didn't want to take more money than we deserved on profit. Integrity. That was the whole point of this. They didn't like it. So they sided with a guy who delusionally thinks he can be CEO and 100% disabled veteran at the same time, who claimed misuse of funds, but it can't be proven because it doesn't exist. And when the misuse of funds fell flat, the guy illegally blocked me, committed bank fraud to block me from the account. And me, I just stepped back. I said, okay, well, thank you for my exit papers, but you're going to pay, because I was going to give it to him. And at the end of the year, I knew with Patrick infringing on everything good in the company, just so he could feel like he was a boss, I knew I couldn't be as successful as I wanted to be at that company. It was time for me to walk away and let the chips fall where they may. But I wanted to get to the end of the year, and I was going to say, hey, look, it's not the year I wanted. And I wasn't even going to blame Pat. I was still protecting him. But, we did pretty good. And if you do this, and this next year, you guys are going to be out of debt. I think my time here is done. I don't think I can do anything for you. Anything more. There's the gridlock, and I wouldn't, but here's what I'm offering you. I was going to retain 5, maybe 10%, but probably 5, and walk away if they would absolve me of all the remaining debt. That was it. No strings attached. You guys figure out how you want to split. I was given it. I got other shit to do. This was always a means to an end. My life isn't. I understand why Patrick fought for his life when, because I could have taken the company immediately. They wanted me to fire his ass. I wouldn't do it. I know now that was more codependence than it was me trying to protect somebody, because his incompetence was shining, and him being disgruntled and jealous was also shining. I just refused to see it because I didn't want to feel what it felt like to hurt a sympathetic character like that, right? So that's a detriment that's something that I'm still working through, and this is the end result. I believe it's all positive. My bond with my family, so much stronger. The shit that I've realized through this spiritually, it's priceless. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on with the movies? I walked away from one. I'll probably come back to it. We'll figure that out. But what's going on with one of them, though, is it's shit. You can't predict shit like this. It only comes at the hands of integrity and standing your ground and putting principle over profit. That's been my whole life. And as a result of that, everything that's happening now, and this is the universe saying, what the fuck are you still doing there, man? You had an exit. You just stand in your truth. And, when people are nice to me, I don't want to hurt their feelings. You know what I mean? It's a fucking detriment. Because a lot of times people are nice to you that have bad intentions. You know what I mean? Like, they're not being forthright. They have bad intentions. They want to, when it's time to go, you go. This whole thing is really about therapy. I knew 2 years ago it was time. I knew that I couldn't get past this little jealousy thing he had. And if the investors were going to allow it and indemnify me, I don't know if they would have, because they're like, Patrick can't run this. You know what I mean? But now he's CEO now. Not really. This is indicative of the fact that they know that this company isn't going to last. They were running a liquidation, basically, to get this guy's note paid, and then they were going to abandon ship. So to the employees there, that's what you got. That's why they're calling him incompetent. You know how incompetent he is. Our meetings were all workarounds to try to figure out how to make this work despite him. You know what I mean? Despite Patrick, the owner. That truth will never disappear. They're calling him CEO now. What does that mean? They don't have any long-term intentions for this company. That's why they haven't taken my offer, because they're just trying to cut their losses is all they're doing. They just didn't know who they were fucking with, right? So I want to show you, I told them June I was supposed to be in Europe. I've made June my dedication to them. I was hoping for integrity, but I'm not delusional now. When I signed that agreement blindly, it wasn't a trap. I was really hoping that the end result would be integrity for everyone, and I would have pulled them out of debt still, not all being indemnified. That's how I am. And then I held out till now. But check it. Check it. One thing I do is I keep information. What do I keep it for? Multiple reasons. People who know me know my old life, right? That's where you didn't ask for much information because you didn't want it. But I would keep information on myself in case something bad happened. There would be a pathway for people so I learned how to keep information without having to know too much about other people. But whenever I wanted information about other people, it was immediately accessible. So that's just an innate thing that I do. And my life was on the line when I was dealing with fucking some of these motorcycle clubs and cartels and shit. At any given point, they could turn, right? So I made sure that my bases were covered. It was a means to an end. I was never deluded in that I could die. You know what I mean? I was getting whipped around in Juarez with a fucking blindfold on. You don't know what their intentions are, right? So there's that part of the game that if you're going to be good at it, you got to look at the facts, and the facts say that's what it is. And when you get to that level, that's who you're dealing with. Me, I always kept a buffer because it was a means to an end. My partner, he wanted to be big dog, and he was. He's also dealt with big dog consequences. And as soon as I felt like, I won't be able to make movies because this dude tried to set me up, I'm out. It's really that simple. So you saw those laptops. That's 3. There was a desktop. There's this desktop down here. Plethora of information. Look at that. So, there's all kinds of stuff in here. So here's the beauty, though. So as I'm going through all this stuff, I woke up from a dream last night. It's probably about midnight. The witching hour. I woke up from a dream. I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know if my kids were here. Those deep sleeps where it's you fell asleep at a time too early and you didn't mean to, and so I'm trying to piece together. Okay, the kids aren't here. What day is it? Oh, it's summer vacation. Blah blah blah. But in that stupor, I went to one box, this one right here. I went to another box in the garage, directly to it. Shit I haven't looked at in years. And then a box in the basement. In those boxes were the information I knew I had that's going to ruin these fuckers with the IRS and the VA. And then allow me to walk out saying, okay, well, these guys can handle you. I'll sue at my leisure now. But what was also in there, see, when you deal with people like this who don't believe you exist, the best defense they got, is I have to be a liar. I'm full of shit. He's a criminal. He's on drugs. They'll grab at whatever they can, things from your past, to make you not real to them. Because the truth is, they don't want to know you are. Because what that means is they're either going to admit that they were wrong to themselves even, or they're going to fight. You know what I mean? They're going to stand their ground. What they're choosing to do, this is a fight or flight mechanism too, because what they've opted to do is deny that I'm their huckleberry. You know what I mean? Like, I told you motherfuckers what I was going to do. I told you that if you continued to push me, and I said it in cocky ways, I was intentionally mean. I expressed what I thought of them. And part of the reason I did it that way is because I really wanted them to understand what was coming. And what I was hoping for is that they would opt out. Do the settlement, Or be a fucking man and say, I don't have it like that. Kurt lied. I'm not rich like that. I don't know what he's talking about. Then some truth could have came out of it, but what they did was hide like cowards. That's what they did. And all that information down there, aside from, this wasn't just malintent. You know what I mean? So I'm up all night now, and there's beautiful baby pictures. There's shit that I haven't seen in years. But my life has been semi-public for most of it, right? So from high school, there's newspaper clippings with me with my dog, and then followed that story in jail, and I get out and I'm the honor grad of boot camp, and I'm a felon, but I have the county executive of Oakland County coming up saying, you should think about getting into politics. Call me. We'll have coffee. I'm like, I don't drink coffee, and I'm a felon. You know what I mean? I'm going to play football, so fuck it. So that, you know what I mean? But it's just, and I got the Marines trying to push me into the Marines. That I have 2 felonies. Yeah, but you got a 96 on the ASVAB, and you're the honor grad of boot camp, and I couldn't get in off the fucking Northern, right? So, then I hurt my back in a car accident, and yeah, I'm gonna go act. Next thing you know, I'm in 90210, and all my, like that's been my fucking life. So even before the internet, everything in my life is, for the most part, documented. And so I know I live by truth. I know that I tell truth even when it's uncomfortable. The extent of my lies in my life have been, I'll call you tomorrow. You know what I mean? A lot of times I meant it, but sometimes I knew I wasn't going to call her. I've never fucked anybody intentionally. I was in a game that was dirty, and people got fucked, and I was in the presence of that, and but I always moved to fix it. I was always a man of my word. I was always going to answer my phone, if not immediately. You were gonna get that call from me. You were going to get the call back. You know what I mean? And I was going to stand in the face of consequences and take it like a man, no matter what. That's what you always got from me. Integrity. That's integrity. It doesn't matter what line of business you're in. If you fuck up and you can admit that you fuck up, and you can stand in the face of somebody telling you you fucked up, and the consequences are, they could be death, but you'll stand in their face and you'll say, what can I do to make it right? What else can you ask of a person? Right? So when I'm digging through all this stuff, what I realized, and I love Drake. Drake says this line in one of his songs. He's like, it's real when you are who you say you are. I've been telling them who I am. Now I'm fucking, man, I hope that scars. I don't. I've been telling them who I am. I've been saying everything I'm going to do. I've been exaggerating it. Not exaggerating it, but making it real clear. Like, this is the end result if you continue to go down this road. And then, not that I need validation for anything I said, but you're human, right? So you doubt you get in these situations where shit gets real tumultuous, and they played that financial duress thing, and I knew that I had to stand in my integrity and just take it, some of it, and I deliver tongue lashings to feel good once in a while, but I did. I've been in a flashback this entire time, like on the cusp of fight or flight. This is what real healing looks like. So in the past, I couldn't have even felt this shit. I would have went off the deep end. Somebody might have been dead, honestly. For this shit, I don't know that I would have had it in me not to react to what was programmed into me. Instead, what they got was some mean words. You know what I mean? They extorted my company from me. They leveraged my integrity to do it. Then they tried to shit on my integrity by making up a story about shit that didn't happen. That's punishable by death where I come from. You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker, but they're alive. And they're now going to suffer the consequences of their actions. And I got a surprise for you guys. I'm not going to talk about it yet. We're in God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. Whatever the fuck you think God is. If you have faith in that, the inherent goodness of human beings will prevail, if given the opportunity and the time to be able to do that, then you'll be all right. But yeah, it's bittersweet. You know what I mean? Like when you do take that spiritual path, and when you have kids, for me, the last thing you want to do is hurt people, and you don't want to take food off their plate, even when they took it off yours or attempted to take it off yours. They couldn't have given two shits if I would have fell into complete fucking, in the past, I did. The flashbacks happened. The blackouts happened. You know what I mean? Like, the suicide for somebody with PTSD is always possible. They didn't give a fuck. And the guy who I protected, he didn't give a fuck either. So I have to be careful not to take that I don't give a fuck at it, because I do. I give a fuck. I care that they're going to suffer now. They're going to suffer because they're choosing to. They're not ready yet to come to grips with their foulness, right? So I'm delivering it to them, and then I'm going to step out. I don't have to drink their poison anymore. But that line there, man, like from Ambra to shitbag Hugh, Zach, you're not much of a shitbag, but you get on my fucking nerves and with your little fucking. What they all did was when conflict arose, they would leverage parts of my past to thinking they would quash me. No, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know what the circumstances are, and fuck you. You know what I mean? Every fucking time. And this whole time I'm wondering, what's the message? What's the universe trying to tell me right now? Like, what am I missing in my growth? Because that's where I always take it back. I don't point the finger and blame. I don't blame these guys. Of course they're them. They can't be anything but them. It would be delusional for me to think that they thought like me, that integrity mattered as much as it does to me. I saw signs from day one that, okay, they're not cut from the same cloth. Does that mean you dismiss people, that you brush them out? Same with Amber. Same with you. I mean, he's a fucking snake. You know what I mean? But he's not really a snake. He's a good guy. That fucking, where money is, they're so scared of, this is how this system programs you, so scared of losing what little bit they have that they will infringe on their own integrity to retain money or retain pride or that's Vince, and life goes on. That foolish pride shit's a motherfucker. And until that ego gets broke down into submission to where you can see past the ego into what your future could be, you remain programmed and you don't even know it. So I say shitbag, that's my perspective. At the end of the day, I can look at each of them and say, well, there's a reason I got involved in business, because they're good people. You know what I mean? Hurt people, right? So for me, as I move into this next phase, like, a lot of what I did was, it was very contrived. Like, I knew when I was acting crazy, and it was to get information. It was also to throw them off. Misdirection is a big thing. They're fucked because I grew up in the system. So I know how to work the system. Your fucking corporate protections don't work with me, pal. I know how you protect yourself. I know exactly how you protect yourself. And I know I'm faster. And I know how to do it legally. So you never met a motherfucker like me. You know what I mean? So now, and I have to believe that there's a reason. There's a good reason for that too. And maybe even for Patrick. Patrick, I worry about. Like, that guy is, he's been setting the stage for his exit from this planet since I've known him. He doesn't know it, but I know enough about suicide. I know enough about psychology. When I see that shit happening, is that my response? It's not. It's not. We all have to be held accountable. And if at any given point through my life, if I would have chosen that route, suicide, that would have been nobody's fucking fault. That's And in all honesty, when a suicidal person leaves, it's a beautiful thing. That's hard to take in, but that suffering that goes into that mind that allows for that doesn't just happen. You know what I mean? It's not like a fucking moment's occurrence, and they've been suffering deeply. and not had the ability to bring it to the surface, and for whatever reason their journey's done at that point, and you can often see it in a suicidal person. They don't know they're suicidal, but things that they do, if you pay attention, there's things that they set up in their lives. They're roadblocks to happiness. That at some point will become insurmountable. There'll be a trigger, and they exit. I have friends that were. I mean, I don't even want to get into that, but Patrick's not a friend anymore. But he's still a human being, and he's still one that served our country. Even if he didn't serve it well, he was there and he took some wounds. And he's a human. He's a human, and I wish him the best, and his kids the best. Scott, I want you to suffer immensely, because a person like you, the deep-pocketed motherfucker that could have ended this a while ago by showing some integrity and saying, okay, look, I fucked up. I believed the wrong people. Let me go ahead and pay for this, and let's try to put some integrity back into this thing. You didn't do that. You fucking chose the coward route. You stayed silent. So I want you to suffer greatly. I'm not going to cause it. Well, I'm a conduit. You've done the shit that's going to make you suffer. I don't have to do anything but this document dump. And then you're fucked, motherfucker, in 2 countries. So this is, I might get some joy out of what I know of your suffering, because it's not going to be real suffering, not suffering like people in poverty had to do. It's going to be suffering of a rich man who's not who's getting his identity stripped away from him due to his own actions. That's that real spiritual shit. That's I would love to do spiritual bypass and just absolve myself through my own growth and the beauty that I've been able to attain through this. I would love to just say, I'm done. Fuck it. You know what I mean? They'll see by my success that, no, they don't see by your success nothing. If you have the ability to hold someone accountable for foul actions, you have to do it, spiritual or not. That you gotta be, you can't, like Martin Luther King says, darkness, it begets darkness. You can't drive out the dark with, dark, only light can do that. So I had problems with working with the IRS with these guys, because I don't like them. I don't like the motherfuckers. They're mercenaries. They don't give a fuck who. Once they got some names, it's go time. Like they're fucking, and I don't like them because they steal from us. But it's kind of poetic justice when the ones who stole from me and thought they were going to get away with it are now going to have to deal with them for the rest of their lives. There's poetry in that, and I'm a big fan of poetry, whether it's Poe or fucking, who's on the light side of that shit. Bob Ross was kind of a poet, right? Whether it's Poe or a happy little fucking tree, you know what I mean? The information I pulled on me, it means I know that I am who I say I am, even though I didn't remember those details of the documentation of my life in court, where I rose. The judge, he's gone now. He left, so I can say this. He paid for my books. The whole court case, when it started, when the thing started, it was this guy's despicable. And he got in trouble for that. Not really in trouble, but chided by the newspapers, because you can't discriminate like that. But he was right. I was the ringleader. And I was an asshole. And I needed what he did. He gave me a year. I thought I was going to get off scot-free. Motherfucker gave me a year. So I had to work to get back into his good graces. And that's where boot camp came in, and it changed my life. I mean, I needed that shit. And I was poor. My parents didn't even know how to do financial aid paperwork. I had to figure that out. I did it all myself, and then this man paid for my books. He couldn't write the check because he can't do that either. But he, through the newspaper reporter who was following my life at the time, he paid for the books. I had a party. I had a party house up at college. Surprise, surprise. It was the biggest one in the history of the school. And at the end of the year, they wound up doing a raid, like a drug bust raid on my house for the parties. I was a 19-year-old kid, and the party store, they wouldn't make their orders every week without knowing how many kegs I needed for my shit. So they wanted my order. I had an operation going. So I got raided. And I told my fraternity brothers, I said, I knew the cops were onto it, and I started schooling them. Okay, you got to make them bong a beer at the door, make them pay $5, and ask them directly, are you a cop? You know what I mean? Like, it's anyway, on that last one, they were cops. And so I went in my room with as many people as I could fit, locked the door, pulled a barrel in there, and we just drank until they got the door open finally. We were at Northern, so they were nicer. But I told my fraternity brothers, I said, you guys don't have to worry about anything. If anything like that ever happens, I'll take the rap. Don't say a fucking word about anything. What you can say is, well, I don't know, Vince's parties. Just say that and get the fuck out. Don't say another word. They're going to charge you with a felony. You'll talk yourself into a felony. Let me take the rap. So when that happened, they tried to charge everybody. I went in there and I cleaned house. The only person, and I know the system. Like, I know the system now. How I'm going to use it against these motherfuckers who are usually protected by it. So I went in there and I said, well, you can't charge them. They didn't do anything. I'm giving you my written statement. That's my party. I profited from it. Charge me. They did. And probation. Probation. And fucking, when I violated probation, I can't remember what it was. Something stupid. They brought me back down to Oakland County in handcuffs. And the prosecutors wanted to put me back in jail. And Judge Andrews, I don't know, this motherfucker, man, looks at him and he says, he's in college, stupid. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, holy shit. He's like, you send him back up to that school right now. Fines absolved. What the fuck? My God, man. You know, that's what integrity gets you. To the stupid motherfuckers who will get this video, I don't even know if you have the attention span to get to it, but what you will get is what you've caused yourself. This is not my doing. It's my doing. I'm taking the actions, but you've asked me to. Hopefully one day you get to a point where you can radically forgive me, and I can radically forgive myself for, my God, man, that's nice. That's when you know you've been putting it in. You've been putting that shit in. What was mapped out for me was a life of integrity. Despite circumstances. Despite it didn't matter. When I was a criminal, I still told the truth. I didn't lie. I never told on anybody. Nobody ever got killed over money for me. You know what I mean? I saved some lives, actually. And I maintained this sense of integrity, even though I wasn't doing the right things all the time. I just knew there was a truth that I just thought was bigger than everything else. And that's what I believe now. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Thank God for my time in the system. Because if I didn't have the knowledge that I have, I wouldn't be able to fuck these people up for what they did. But I do. It's your ass. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? Chin burn. I'm not even tired. I'm a little bit whiskers. What do you think? What do you think, Kat? No comment? She knows how to do life right. She really does. Do I look high? Do I look high right now? Hey, shitbags in Canada, you motherfuckers, their companies are gone. They don't know it yet. They're gone. They're under investigation by 3 of their top agencies right now. I'm smirking. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, fuck all of you. Like, and this is me in human terms. Fuck you. You don't get to do this to people. You don't get to do this to people. Truth is, you do. You've done it your whole lives to people. You've stolen their money and investments and said, sue me. Knowing they can't sue you. You've done that. You've been protected by the police with your white privilege. I got it too, motherfucker. You know what I mean? And I speak better. I'm smarter, and I've also seen how you oppress people. So with that, I can fuck you up, and that's what's gonna happen. It's not what's gonna happen. Some of it's already happening. You don't know it. You think I'm full of shit. You think I've been talking for the sake of talking. I've been trying to talk you out of an ass whooping because I didn't want to do it to you. And that's me spiritually bypassing my responsibility that was bestowed on me probably 2 years ago when I should have fired Patrick. But we're here now, right? So everything happens in divine time. And what you've asked for is what you're going to get. Be careful what you ask for, motherfucker. You didn't know. You didn't know I'd go as far as to get Chinburn to do a document dump to the IRS just to hold you accountable. I don't even care about money. This ain't about money for me anymore. I'll go build this again. I'm not building this again. This was a means to an end. I'm moving on. I got other shit. I gotta say this. Has anybody ever had DHS call them and ask them, do you need any help? They called me. They called me and did a phone interview with me. And they said, I was like, they're asking all these questions. I was like, well, no, there's no income right now, but, this is all temporary. And anyway, she said, well, look, she broke me down spiritually. She said, you're having trouble taking help from me right now. I'm like, well, I don't know. I didn't know that it was available. And I know it's temporary. She asked the question, do you have central air? Yeah, I have central air. When she's asking shit like that, I'm like, I don't feel right. I'm going to be fine. She's like, but you need us now. And that's what we're here for. What the fuck kind of Twilight Zone world am I living in where they call me? And it was because of DTE. I haven't been late on that shit. It was, and my name was also connected to the office. That was one of the things they tried to use when they said I was misusing funds, because it would fluctuate from my account to the company account because everything was in my name. Everything. That guy never put anything on the line. He signed some shit, and he was a good mascot, decent mascot. That was one of the things they used. As one time, it billed my account. Do you know how many times I got calls for fucking... Anyway, because of DTE, fucking DHS calls me and tries to offer me help. And then when I said no, they wouldn't let me say no. I don't even know what they're planning. I don't know what they got planned. They said emergency fucking what. I'm like, look, I'm not going to fucking argue with you. I thank you, I guess. Integrity. So what I dug up last night, yeah, there was those documents, right? There was everything I needed. It was in each one of these boxes, there was a story told. It was a beautiful thing. Like, because now I have the end of the book. I have the end of the book and the launch of the movement. Frequency Fest coming up. Life Goes On has new life. Fuck Cut Print. It's haunted. Fuck that movie. What the story told was of a guy that, despite the dismal circumstances to begin with, and a tumultuous life at times, never wavered on his commitment to truth, even in the worst of circumstances. And here these motherfuckers are thinking they thought they were going to say I stole money from the company. That was the story they wanted to tell people. What I dug up last night, and when we get to the end game, if you get there, you're going to see the same thing. Your story will change multiple times because it has to, or you're going to have to play dumb. Oh, I didn't know that. What you're going to see at my end game is the same story. Because when you tell the truth, you don't have to cover your tracks. You don't have to think about much. Some of that shit, I don't even remember it. But when I went back to it, I was like, oh shit, I did do that. Oh, wow, yeah, no, I did say that. Oh, wow, what the fuck? Guess what? A lot of it happened right here in Oakland County. That's where you were going to go try to infringe on my integrity and try to dismantle my character. You can't dismantle my character. Anything that in my character somebody could chide, I put out for public view. Anything that you have that you think might be juicy, I gave it to you. I wrote a book about it. Made movies. It's shit that, people might be shameful of and want to hide from. Every aspect of my being that has led me to this point today, I embrace it. You'll never catch me lying about it. There's nothing you can say. I teach my kids this lesson. Don't do anything that you wouldn't tell another person about. I lived by that. Anything I've ever done in my life, whether you judge it or not, you know what I mean? Like, if it's something, oh my God, I can't believe you did it. Wait till it's already been, somebody knows about it. Because I haven't hidden anything in my fucking life. And you weren't the bad motherfuckers that were going to make me start. So what you're going to get at this end game is you're going to get that same story. I'll prevail, however that looks. And you're going to feel fucking stupid, hopefully. Because if you feel stupid, that means something positive affected you. And maybe you can grow from that. If we reach the end game and you're just pissed off because you're writing me a big check, you're still a piece of shit. So maybe remember that. Something's wrong in your life. I promise you what you got with your wife ain't good. Your kids, probably not good. Because whatever you got fucking buried in that psyche of yours that you haven't divulged to yourself yet, it's the reason for all your fucking woes. Not me, not anybody else out there, not the IRS, not anybody. You. Just like everything in this, I invited this into my life. In my codependence, I said, yeah, no, let's make this rough for me. I need another lesson. I embrace it. And I can thank you guys for it. I know you didn't mean to offer me anything good, but that's what I'm taking. Whether you like it or not. And you can do the same thing. I don't think you will. I think you need this hard lesson. Be careful what you wish for. And we're hitting an hour, and my chin's still fucked up. Makeup. I love you guys. The revolution will be televised. Stay tuned.